first of all, for the 6.7 million Syrians still remaining in rural areas in Syria, agriculture is a critical lifeline for them, and it essentially most of them are still very heavily involved in agriculture, and it provides a lot of food for them and an income source. Secondly, so by supporting that, clearly we'll be supporting them. Secondly, if we know that from our results of our survey, we asked the question, if agriculture was to be supported, what would be the impact on migration and on internal and external migration? And about 94% actually of the communities that we interviewed said that it would have a positive impact. In other words, it would stop people leaving and or encourage people to return. So that's a second major issue. A third one is that we think that if agriculture is supported, then this would reduce the need for the huge amounts of humanitarian aid that are currently going into the country, estimated at around about $5 billion per year. We talked to about 3,500 households and about 400 focus groups around the country, and they were all telling us that their first priority would be things like seeds and fertilizers, pesticides, etc. To get them back on their feet. They would need to be supported with restocking of livestock, etc. But fairly soon after that initial period, they were telling us that they would then, they felt, be in a position to start producing for the market, and therefore then they would need support in marketing, credit, those types of things. In terms of the needs geographically, there are some governorates in Syria that have suffered particularly heavy losses, and some of those are the most productive areas. So we're talking about Al-Hasaka in the northeast, Aleppo also, of course, Dar ez-Zor, which is the main governorate for livestock. These are all, and also rural Damascus. These are areas where, you know, I think we would have to start focusing as a first priority. But clearly the needs are vast across the whole country. So under the first scenario, that as the sort of continuing as normal, we would expect the cost to be about $10 billion over a 3-year period. And that would increase to 14 billion in the partial return to peace scenario, and then about 17 billion in the full return to peace scenario. The differences between the three are that as you get more peaceful situations, we're expecting more people to be returning. So the actual number of people that you'll be supporting would be higher. This situation in Syria shows us that we can support agriculture during conflict. So it's not as though it's not necessary that we would be actually, as an international community, giving out humanitarian aid throughout a conflict. It's possible to support agriculture within a conflict or a conflict situation. I think that's a big message that we need to be sending.